People love Cassi Davis, who has been in some of Tyler Perry's most famous shows, who she just broke her silence. The entertainment business is completely shocked by what she said about Tyler Perry. She didn't say anything for years, but now she's telling us something that might change how we see one of the biggest names in Black Hollywood. You'll not believe what she told you. This story just turned everything on its head, so stay with us. The media movies, stage shows and TV companies are what come to mind when we think of Tyler Perry's world. Cassi Davis is the face we know right away. She has been a regular in Perry's shows for more than 20 years and is best known for her unforgettable part as the sassy Aunt Bam. Fans have laughed and cried with her and been there for her when she's been sick, but they had never heard her side of the story before now. For years, people talked about it. What was really going on between Tyler Perry and his castmates behind the scenes? Why did some stars disappear from projects all of a sudden and then show up years later with little to no explanation? Also, why did Cassi Davis, who fans loved, was loyal to, and skilled, fade from view during important times in Perry's rise? It looks like the silence is over now. Cassi Davis was honest in a private podcast chat that has since gone viral. Fans have never seen her be so open before. Her words were honest, sad, and totally out of the blue. She talked about how close she was to Tyler Perry, what really happened during the tough years of their work relationship, and how hard it was on her to keep quiet while everyone else only saw one side. Everything people thought they knew about Tyler Perry, his business, his loyalty, and even his public image based on his faith, has been called into question by what she said. We're going over every single detail of Cassi Davis's confession in this film. Why she didn't want to be involved with Perry's project, how her words might affect Tyler Perry's legacy, and what people in the business and fans are saying now that the truth is out. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear isn't just sad, it's also challenging, honest and raw. This is where the story changes. A long time before media became famous and Tyler Perry became a rich business mogul, only a few actors were determined enough to believe in his idea when no one else did. Cassi Davis was one of them. She was an actor with a gospel heart, great comedic timing, and an undeniable stage presence. Cassi worked with Tyler Perry for the first time in the early 2000s when he was doing live shows with Madea. She wasn't well known yet, but Tyler saw something in her that other people didn't. She became a fan favorite right away because she could mix fun with honest feelings, both with the public and with Perry's close-knit group of artistic friends. They made magic together. Cassi Davis became an important part of Tyler Perry's world through Madea's Family Gathering, Madea Goes to Jail, House of Pain, Meet the Browns, and more. People loved how sassy she spoke, how soulful her eyes were, and how real she seemed in every part. She was beautiful and strong whether she was Aunt Bam or Ella Payne. While most people know that Cassi and Tyler worked together, they weren't just friends. They were deeply spiritually linked. Tyler has said in many interviews that he surrounded himself with religious people who could pray for him when things got tough, especially when he was in the beginning and Hollywood didn't understand him. Cassi was one of those people. People who knew her say she was Tyler's spiritual center. She would quote scriptures to him when he was having a hard time, lay hands on him before shows, and give him advice that he really relied on. She was like family, not just a co-star. For a while, there were even rumors that the two might be dating, which they both rejected over and over again. Still, they were one of the most admired pairs in black entertainment because of how well they worked together on screen and how loyal they were off-screen. But you can test even the strongest ties. In Chapter 2, we look into what happened when Cassi Davis stopped showing up in Perry's productions and the reports that there was a fight. And why not even her biggest fans saw it coming. Cassi Davis was everywhere one day. Watch old episodes of House of Pain, Tyler Perry shows, bet features, and red carpet events. What about the next? She was gone. There was no official statement or press release. There was only silence. And for fans who were used to seeing her in almost all Tyler Perry movies, the silence was unbearable. Cassi Davis wasn't involved in any of Tyler's big projects for almost 4 years. Madea's Last Play tour? Not at all Cassi. New episodes of House of Pain? She didn't show up to important advertising events. That of Tyler Perry's The Oval or Sisters? Not even a small part. Fans could only guess. Some said it was health problems. Cassi had already said that she was dealing with Bell's palsy, an illness that made her facial muscles look different. Others talked quietly about what might happen behind the scenes. There could be creative differences, or even worse, a betrayal of trust. What made things even stranger, though, Tyler Perry never talked about her absence in public. At that point, conspiracy ideas started to spread. Was Cassi pushed out? Did she leave because of a money problem? Maybe there was something more going on, like a battle between faith and faith. Some people even said that Cassi didn't like how Tyler's productions were changing, with sexier plots, more intense drama, and what she thought was a shift away from the original goal. Someone on the blog said that Cassi always put God first. She may have thought that the work no longer showed who she really was. In an interview that came back to light in 2018, Cassi suggested that she was going through a spiritual time of being apart. At the time, most people thought she meant taking time off for health or family reasons. But now that we look back, fans think she may have been talking about how her relationship with Tyler Perry was getting worse. This is the part that no one saw coming. Several people who work at Tyler Perry Studios said that there were reports of a private argument between Tyler and Cassi about creative control, changes to the script, and what one person called boundaries being crossed. Still, no one was brave enough to talk about it directly. Not Cassi, not Tyler, and not even other group members until now. The reason Cassi finally admitted in her latest podcast confession wasn't just because she was sick. She said that she and Tyler went through what she called a season of distance, one that came from being hurt, not understanding each other, and having to pick peace over success. When she spoke, her voice cracked. "I really loved that man, but we got lost. We both did." She then stopped. "Too long did I stay quiet. I almost broke when I tried to protect him." People were shocked by what happened. Fans heard from Cassi herself for the first time that something real, private, and painful had happened behind closed doors. Something more than just show business. There was something that changed everything. But what broke my heart the most? She said she cried through whole shows of House of Pain because she knew the viewers didn't know the truth, being afraid they would never do it. What Tyler Perry and Cassi Davis did may not have been loud, messy, or public, but it was real, deep, and hasn't been talked about until now. When Cassi Davis sat down for that podcast interview that is now going viral, no one thought she would say something so deep. It wasn't a tour for the press. It wasn't a book that told everything. No one else was there besides Cassi. She was free to say what she really thought after years of keeping quiet. She took a deep breath and said this first. "Even though Tyler Perry and I worked together, he was more like a brother to me. And family can hurt you more than strangers sometimes." The mood was set right then. This wasn't going to be just silly talk. This was about pain, betrayal, and letting go of something Cassi had kept hidden for too long. She went on. "There were times when I felt spiritually torn. For the sake of his memory, I had to decide whether to speak out or keep quiet. I didn't say anything for years." Cassi says that when Tyler's more serious shows, like The Oval or Ruthless, were being planned, things reached a breaking point. Cassi has always been very vocal about her Christian religion. She was worried about the sexual content, the violence, and the move away from the spiritual stories that Perry's earlier works were known for. "It wasn't like this at first, Tyler," I told him. "Where is the heart? Where's the getting better?" Cassi says that her worries were not taken seriously. "He told me, 'Cassi, this is business now. This is what people buy.' I thought to myself, we used to do this to help people, not shock them." In her words, that was the start of what she called a psychic rift. Cassi made it clear that she was never mad at Tyler. She was just sad that she had lost someone she loved and believed in. They slowly gave up on the ideals that made their work so powerful in the first place. She said she fasted and prayed for him and even thought about quietly leaving, which is what she did in the end. "People thought I had vanished because I was sick, which I was. Besides that, though, I was sad. I'm missing a friendship, a brotherhood, and a relationship that I thought would last forever. I watched Tyler Perry become everything we said we'd never be." That was the sentence that made the news. "I loved him through it all, even when it was hard." People in the entertainment business were shocked by that one line. Fans were shocked. People who have seen the House of Pain and Medea movies for a long time posted emotional comments on Twitter and YouTube. Some people told Cassi she was brave for speaking out. Some people felt lied to and didn't know who to trust. One thing was clear though, it wasn't just about show business, it was about the soul. Cassi didn't say bad things about Tyler. She didn't say anything bad or illegal about him. Even more painful was what she did. She told the truth from the heart of someone who saw her friend lose himself in the fame, money, and Hollywood machine. Still, she showed grace at the end of her apology. "I'm not mad at him. Every day I pray for him. But I had to say it because keeping it inside was making my spirit sick. It served as a warning that real friendships and pain can happen anywhere, even in Black Hollywood. And real people suffer in quiet so that someone else can build an empire." After Cassi Davis's powerful statement hit the news, it wasn't long before the headlines went crazy. It's time for Cassi Davis to talk about Tyler Perry. Was it all just for work? Cassi speaks up. Davis finally tells the truth about why she went missing, faith over fame. Just as expected, the answer was split down the middle. On one side, faithful fans, churchgoers, and even a few vocal gospel stars sent their support. It was full of words of support on social media. "Cassi, thanks for being honest. It's about time someone said it." It was important for us to hear this side of Tyler as well. She's brave, not angry. Some people compared her to Esther because she spoke out against strong men in the entertainment industry, which is not always easy for women, especially Black women of faith. Others praised her for how well she handled such a touchy subject. She never lied, blamed, or slandered anyone. Many people could relate to how honest she was because she spoke the truth in love. On the other hand, there was a loud, harsh, and unforgiving reaction. Some Tyler Perry fans said she lied to them. Some people said she wasn't thankful for all the chances he gave her. Someone wrote, "Tyler made you who you are," which is now going viral. "This is how you say thank you." Surprisingly, many church leaders and gospel figures kept quiet because they didn't want to upset Tyler Perry, who still gives a lot of money to many church-related projects, charities, and faith-based productions. As someone who has always been very involved in the church, Cassi was ghosted by some of the people she had prayed, sang, and worshipped with for years. In an Instagram follow-up message, she said, "Some of you only love the truth when it's convenient." The message was clear, but she didn't say who it was. The church that used to praise her for sticking with Christ had turned away from her because she was brave enough to tell the truth to power. On the other hand, people who work in the entertainment business were split. Some people behind the scenes told Cassi she was right when she said the Tyler Perry brand had changed a lot, but most people didn't say anything. Tyler Perry is still one of the most powerful Black voices in Hollywood, so not many people were ready to give up their jobs. There was then a campaign of rumors, hazy interviews, and shady online comments. Some YouTubers even said that Cassi had lost touch with the real world. But Cassi stayed calm, strong, and religiously grounded through it all. She didn't answer. She didn't go to more news events. She only put up one Bible verse. "The kingdom of heaven belongs to those who are punished for doing what is right." Matthew 5:10. That one line said a lot. Her goal was never to cause trouble. Truth, spiritual duty, and picking healing over hiding were all important parts of the story. Cassi Davis was brave enough to speak from the heart even though she knew it might cost her. This was a time when people often reward those who stay quiet. Fans now have a bigger question after all the fuss is over. Cassi, who is one of the most loyal, honest, and true voices in gospel music, had to wait this long to speak her truth. How many other people are still keeping quiet? When everyone heard Cassi Davis's honest statement, one thing could not be argued with. Things would never be the same for Tyler Perry's fame. Tyler Perry built his fame on faith, forgiveness, family, and giving people a second chance, and Cassi Davis was a big part of that more than just being on the show. She did more than just entertain on Medea's Family Reunion, House of Pain, and many other shows. She held those stories together at their core. Things change when someone like Cassi speaks up because they are open, honest, and have been loyal for decades. It's not just what was said that changes, but also who said it. What does her confession really mean from now on? To begin, everyone connected to Tyler Perry has had to think about what happened. People who work at Tyler Perry Studios say there's been an obvious change in energy. But Perry himself hasn't said anything public about Cassi's interview yet. There are fewer staff meetings, more power over public relations, and rising tensions between people who have worked together for a long time. You can feel it. Someone on the group wrote on a blog that people are walking on eggshells. Inside the company, there are also rumors of changes being made to the types of stories that are approved and how group members are treated behind the scenes, because Cassi made it clear being successful doesn't mean you can be quiet. A lot of fame doesn't make up for the emotional cost of losing your voice. But what might be the most powerful ripple effect of all? A lot more people are coming out. Since Cassi's statement, at least 3 former Tyler Perry cast members have hinted that they have problems that they haven't talked about. They haven't come forward in public yet, but one actress wrote something cryptically that said, "Sometimes healing begins when the first domino falls." Honor to Cassi. Perry's fans also have a new way of looking at her work. People are talking about how his new work has changed in online chats. Some people praised the brave retelling, while others agreed with Cassi that algorithms and network demands have taken the place of the anointing. Even people in the church community who didn't want to reply at first are slowly starting to do so. Some preachers have talked about Cassi's bravery in their sermons, bringing attention to the fact that people need to be honest and lead by example everywhere, even in entertainment. In the meantime, Cassi has stayed put. She hasn't tried to get more attention or fame. She's now back to what she calls her first calling, which is working in church, teaching young women about show business and putting peace over performance. She told a small religion podcast not long ago, "I didn't speak out to hurt anyone. I spoke out to set myself free and maybe to show someone else that it's okay to tell the truth, even if it makes people uncomfortable." What does this all mean for Tyler Perry? It will depend on what or how he says. Well, when someone like Cassi tells the truth, silence is its own kind of message, and the judgment is real for fans who grew up believing in media's message, who turned to Perry's work for religious comfort, and who saw Cassi and Tyler as the perfect example of creative unity. People can still be forgiven and made right with each other, but it starts with being honest, which Cassi did even when it hurt. Now it's your turn. The viewer, are you sure that Cassi Davis was honest and did the right thing? Should Tyler Perry answer in public, or does his quiet say a lot? In the entertainment business, what does this moment say about how we treat loyalty, truth, and faith? Leave a comment below. We are listening to every word. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this video to keep the fight going. This is what Cassi Davis taught us. Davis taught us. Your words can help someone make a big step forward.